Half a day, everybody. This is Health Check, and I have the very distinct pleasure of being joined by Kevin Hines. He's a visitor to our island, and as is Island Hospitality, we welcome him with open arms, especially when he was sharing very valuable information that benefit all of us. A very, very personal story to you, Kevin, but you're using your own experience to benefit society and everything. So, I mean, that's an incredibly selfless thing to do, but half a day and welcome to Guam.
Nice to meet you. Half a day. Great. Right back at you.
We're very happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. So excited to be here.
Okay, so you're sharing on behalf of the Todu Guam Foundation, our good friends over there. The Rodriguez family is so wonderful. They bring you out here to share a message of resilience, of self-awareness, I would say, and, please tell me your own story.
Absolutely. The Todu Guam Foundation is incredible. So is the Behavioral Health Department here in Guam. And they brought me out here to share my story of triumph over trauma and purpose over pain. In the year 2000, due to bipolar depression, Jason and I leapt off the Golden Gate Bridge to try to take my life, a method of suicide that is 99% fatal. I got the gift of a second chance, and I'm not going to squander that. I'm going to travel the world anywhere between 250 to 300 days a year, sharing stories of hope, healing, and recovery from brain pain, trying to help people who are in dire straits, who are thinking of suicide, recognize their true value, that suicide is not the answer, and that hope exists. And if you haven't reached it yet, you just haven't walked far enough, keep going. And so the goal...
clearly you were chosen. Oh.
Well, I think that I do believe that God saved my life that day. There were a lot of things that came into play that were crucial in saving my life and keeping me above water. One of them was a sea lion that kept me afloat in the waters under the Golden Gate Bridge until the Coast Guard boat arrived behind me. One of them, in fact, was a woman who was driving by at the moment I leapt over the rail in a red car, and she called her friend, her colleague in the Coast Guard, and told him exactly where I was in the water. One of the only reasons they knew exactly where to go to get me out to safety. Before the Coast Guard boat arrived, the sea lion kept me afloat, saving my life. And then one of the foremost back surgeons in the world, Dr. Jonathan Levin, who I've just reunited with recently after 22 years, he saved me the ability to stand, walk, and run. I had shattered 3 vertebrae. I had missed severing my spinal cord by 2 millimeters. And Dr. Levin and his team, and Dr. Ma, and everybody involved at Marin Medical Health Center gave me a leg to stand on, if you will.
Mm-hmm. How high above sea level is the Golden Gate Bridge, Kevin?
It's 220 foot above the water, the rail, the walkway.
22 stories.
20, it's exactly 25 stories.
25 stories.
Right, okay. At the place that I jumped, it's exactly 25 stories. And in the seconds it took to fall from the walkway to the waters below the bridge, I prayed to God that I would live. And I believed wholeheartedly that God saved my life that day through that sea lion, through that doctor at the hospital, through that woman driving by.
Yes, sir.
Through all the onlookers who saw what happened, and the people that fought to keep me alive in the hospital.
Well, I'm sure the Rodriguez told you, Kevin, first of all, it's wonderful to have you here. And we here on the island are people of great faith. And we believe in a higher power. Guam is, I believe, 91% Roman Catholic and everything. So yes, we absolutely believe that, you are here for a reason and to share your story and to help others that may be suffering, confused. Is that true?
I think that's accurate. I'm of the Roman Catholic faith, born and raised. I was telling someone else today, the only time I lost my faith was when I was standing atop the Golden Gate Bridge walkway looking down. And as my father is fond of saying to his buddies at baseball games, Kevin found him on the way down. And I really did. I prayed that I would live and God saved my life. And I can't deny that. I pray every day for every person going through brain and mental pain, struggling with suicidal ideations. My only hope is that this tour we're doing in Guam has a ripple effect, causing people in that brain pain to harness their true power to survive and to someday thrive.
Now let me make sure I get the context correctly, because when you say brain pain and mental health and mental wellness, these are people that you said you had bipolar disorder. So these are people like maybe perhaps bipolar disorder, depression, schizophrenia,
anxiety,
yes, as well as perhaps people who may be suffering from like ADHD,
addictions,
just, yeah.
the whole nine. And so,
and people that may just be going through something and behaviorally,
going through something
yeah.
behaviorally, they're struggling with their mind, their brain, their behavioral health. Their kids are struggling.
So whether you were clinically diagnosed or you're just going through
really,
really,
you're just
really tough
going
times.
through it, and
you literally are their avenging angel at this point in your life.
I wouldn't say that, but I would say that what a friend of mine, I think, said it best. She said I was a beacon of hope, and if I can be that for people in any way, shape, or form, I'll be doing that until the day I die of natural causes. Mm-hmm.
So when you go around and speak, what is the general message that you give to people who I'm sure in the crowd, or you could hear a pin drop at that point as you share your story? What do you tell them about the power of the human spirit, the power of faith, and and that you can overcome whatever challenges you face?
I think, Jason, the message is clear. It's multi-purposed. There's a lot of story to tell. From being born in abject poverty, to being taken in foster care, to my brother passing away in foster care when we both had the same diagnosed bronchitis. He passed away. Why did he die and why did I get to live? I was a survivor from the very beginning.
Survivor's guilt. Yeah.
To be brought on to being adopted by the Hines family, brought into a world that was beautiful and kind and compassionate. And then at 17, being diagnosed with bipolar depression, and then by 19, attempting to take my life off the Golden Gate Bridge. That was really just the beginning, because I got to live. I got to marry the love of my life, Margaret Hines, my wife, who's in this room.
She's right there, awesome.
She's right there.
She's very, very lovely, and
yes, she is,
beaming with pride right now.
She's gorgeous, and I got
on the verge of tears.
And I got
half a day, Margaret.
I got so much life past that moment. 24 years now, past the moment I should have died. And I think often to myself, what if I had gone that day? I remember my father coming to the hospital the day of my attempt. And this is a man who I'd never seen cry in his life. 19 years up until that point, never a tear. Deaths in the family, trauma, struggles, not a tear. He was that kind of guy. And he comes in the hospital room and he says, "Kevin, I'm sorry." Guilt. I said, "No, Dad, I'm sorry." Then he came over to my forehead, he kissed my forehead, he kissed me on the forehead, and he put his hand on my head. And he said words I'll never forget. "Kevin, you're going to be okay, I promise." They had just given him, outside of that room, a 50-50 chance I'd live through the night. But he promised I was going to be okay. And I believed him. And I took that and I held it onto my chest. And I fought for myself. I fought to live. I fought to get used to the wheelchair, then the back brace and the walker, then the back brace and the cane, then right into my first psych ward, because you can't just go home after that, right? And so all these things played a role in my recovery and my healing. And I'm not recovered, Jason. I'm not well. I'm in recovery every day like one would be from a substance use disorder. Yeah. I have to do the work to stay stable. So the message is to anyone here in Guam or the CNMI Islands, if you are struggling with brain pain, do not struggle in silence. One of the heartbreaking things we see here in Guam is that the access to care is so difficult to achieve. And that goes statewide as well, but on the mainland. But really here, we need to find a way to birth more therapists, more psychiatrists, more caregivers, more treatment centers, more facilities for people in this struggle. Because I would guarantee you that for every one that's going to that therapy or that treatment, there are hundreds, if not thousands, that don't seek it out because they don't believe they can get it, or because they don't feel that they deserve it.
Well, I'm sure as you're going to learn, as you endear yourself to our local community during your trip here and everything is the old school way of us Islanders doing things, especially if you're the boy in the family, is that, okay, deal with it later, don't deal with it at all. You know, it's very, very much like who we, you know, you're supposed to be, you know, the strong one. And so if you're going through something, you know, like, suck it up. And then that is absolutely the unhealthy way of dealing with things.
And it's the norm here, and we have to find a way.
But people are more aware of mental health these
They're
days.
more aware than ever before, and that's great. But we need to enhance that by 10x or more.
Yeah.
You know, people in general, specifically men here on Guam, they're silencing their pain. Unsilence your pain. Unburden yourself. Tell the truth about your pain to one person willing to empathize, so you don't have to go it alone. I was silencing my pain for a very long time. I struggled in silence, and it nearly took me from my entire family. Don't let it take you from yours.
Very few times in my career I've been absolutely like rendered speechless. But I mean, Kevin, you are so the embodiment of, you know, of strength and resolve, and it's such a wonderful thing to have you here on our island, giving this gift to us. While I try and compose my thoughts, where can people where can people find you? Because I know you're going to give a presentation on Thursday.
Yes. Pardon me.
He's also dealing with a cold right now.
Yes, I
am.
Ashley, can you help with that?
Yeah. Okay. So Thursday, 6:30 p.m. at the Regal.
Thursday, 6:30 p.m. at the Regal. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the run.
Okay. So
and then the Todu Guam Foundation, they're also having their annual fundraiser. I emceed that like last year. Absolutely wonderful. Please come out. Very, very positive.
Pardon me. Hold on one second.
No, you're good. You're good. So please make sure to come out, support the Todu Guam Foundation, because of course they are a foundation created by former Senator Dennis Rodriguez Jr. as well as his wonderful wife and his daughter. It's a family operation, but they are bringing information, healthcare to closing the gap on the healthcare disparities that our island unfortunately has to deal with. Making a lot of progress in that regard. But Kevin, certainly your contributions to the Todu Guam Foundation's mission, invaluable.
Well, they're doing incredible work, and they're the leaders in this space here, and it's beautiful to see.
Agree 100%.
You know, it's Thursday, 6 p.m., and we hope to see all of you there to pack the house and watch a beautiful film designed to build resilience, build hope, and foster a way forward. Okay,
and let me just let's end with this, Kevin, because if people are watching this right now, and you know, for whatever reason, logistically, you know, like lack of a ride, or you know, they're not able to make your wonderful presentation. If they're watching this right now, people going through things, you know, old people, kids, anybody all over the world when this is on YouTube and everything. If you're going through something, what wisdom, what inspiration, what guidance can you offer them to show that there is hope?
Yes, I can say this. I have dealt with a great deal of pain in my life. I still deal with a great deal of pain in my life. But pain is inevitable. Suffering can be optional, a choice. If you choose to be the hero of your journey, no matter the pain you're in, you can still thrive, no matter what you're going through. Just because you're struggling with a world of pain today doesn't mean you don't get to have that beautiful tomorrow. But friends, you have to be here to get there in the first place. Forge forward. Keep going. Never give up. Never give in. And please, I beg of you, never take your life. Suicide does not take the pain away. It transfers it on to everyone left behind and makes it wholly impossible for things to ever get better. And with time, energy, effort, and a great deal of hard work, you'll get better. I'm living proof.
And you've always got this. And you have that in abundance, Kevin.
Thank you.
And like you said, look to the good book.